In the rolling countryside of Kentucky, where the hills curved like quiet waves and the wind always smelled faintly of cedar, there once stood a small village named Miller's Creek. Life there moved slowly, like an old rocking chair that had learned to sing with time. Most people who passed through barely noticed the narrow dirt road that led to the far edge of town. Fewer still knew the story buried under the moss-covered boards of an old wooden bridge. But the elders remembered, and one boy, more than anyone else, carried its memory in his heart. His name was Samuel Reed, 12 years old, curious as a summer breeze and always wandering. While other boys fished in the creek or played in the barn fields, Samuel preferred the forgotten places, the abandoned mill, the long, quiet orchard, and most of all, the rickety bridge at the far end of the valley. The townspeople often warned him. "That old thing ain't safe," they'd say. "Best keep away, Sammy." But Samuel wasn't there for the bridge. He was there for the stories it whispered. Every evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the water gold, he would sit on the rail, feet dangling above the creek, listening to the gentle groan of the wooden planks. He believed the bridge was alive in its own old way, holding memories, keeping secrets. One late autumn evening, Samuel found someone else standing there. It was Mr. Harlan, the oldest man in Miller's Creek, his back slightly bent, his beard white as the first snow. He rarely spoke more than a few words, and he almost never came this far out. Samuel hesitated, but the old man nodded softly. "Beautiful place," Mr. Harlan murmured, resting a trembling hand on the railing. "I used to come here, a long time ago." Samuel sat beside him. "You knew this bridge when it was new?" The old man smiled, a sad, faraway smile. "Oh, yes, I built this bridge, but not alone." He tapped the rail gently. "My brother Jacob helped me. We were young, strong, thought nothing in the world could break us." The wind rustled through the dry leaves. Samuel leaned closer, sensing a story that had waited decades to be told. Mr. Harlan continued, voice lowering. "We built it for the town. Folks needed a safe way across the creek. But for us, it was more than that. It was our promise to each other." His eyes glistened. "But the river rose one spring, higher than we'd ever seen. Jacob tried to save the far end of the bridge from washing away. Water swept him under." The old man's voice broke. "By the time we found him, it was too late." Samuel's chest tightened. He had never seen Mr. Harlan like this, open, vulnerable, trembling with memories that refused to fade. "After that day," the old man whispered, "I couldn't bring myself to fix it. Folks built a new road. The bridge was left to time. But I always felt like I left Jacob behind, left our promise unfinished." Samuel stared at the weathered boards, suddenly seeing them differently. Not as old wood, but as pieces of a story carved by love and loss. A silence settled between them until Samuel spoke softly. "Mr. Harlan, maybe the bridge is still waiting for you." The old man looked at him, surprised. "For me?" "To say goodbye," Samuel whispered. "For real this time." Mr. Harlan's eyes softened. Slowly, painfully, he stepped onto the center of the bridge. Samuel followed, standing beside him as the last rays of sunlight caught the ripples of the creek. The old man removed his hat, held it to his chest, and closed his eyes. Under the whispering wind, he spoke in a trembling voice. "Jacob, I'm here. After all these years, I'm here." The creek murmured below, gently as a lullaby. And for the first time in decades, Mr. Harlan wept, not with regret, but with release. Samuel placed a small hand on his arm, steadying him like the railing had done for so long. When the old man finally looked up, his tears had dried, and something heavy had lifted from his shoulders. "Thank you, boy," he said quietly. "This place won't feel forgotten anymore." They walked back to town together under the fading amber sky, the old man moving slower but lighter. Behind them, the bridge stood in peaceful silence, weathered, ancient, and finally at rest. Not because it had been repaired, but because its story had been remembered. And in Miller's Creek, people began to speak of it once more, not as a forgotten bridge, but as a place where two brothers' promise and one boy's kindness found their way back home.